when you can easily be you, it is because of secure attachment with self and other. That's also the definition of spirituality. I heard that one from Daniel Siegel when he was invited to a conference. So Daniel Siegel is Dr. Daniel Siegel, and he's a neurobiologist, I believe, neuroscientist. I forget all his titles, but he's a therapist. And I learn at Mindsight Institute, a lot of courses there are. The ones that I have learned: disorganized attachment and DID, dissociative identity disorder, consciousness and change. This one's my most recent. I finished and completed. Really amazing for anyone. And part of it has data and part of it doesn't. And here's where he shares when he was invited to this conference. He's like, but I'm not a spirituality person. I'm not a mystic. He also shares with us in the same course what a mystic is, according to somebody that I've mentioned more than once. We'll get to that. Again, in case you're new, I'm a 5D mystic. The 4D, they're on Elsa's journey. They don't get to their first 3 years of life and that implicit memory, which is really painful. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, and they make up stories, yes, of the devil and demon. No, those stories existed in the past because stories existed to explain things that now sciences shares with us is not a truth. They give us data. Now, the flat earthers are flat earthers, and anybody who doesn't want to believe in what is factual, meaning you can like or not like it emotionally, you're going to be like, okay, I know about attachment categories. There are groups of subject matter experts that chase down Daniel Siegel as he informs us of new ideas, it's not only ideas. This is the part. I'm an academic, so I'm not going to go into all this shit. It's called social media. I'm a pseudoscience lady, woo, but I know where I get my information, and I know the difference between a Peter Pan and a Wendy. Yes, and my mystic community, we're all Peter Pans and Wendy's. I'm okay with that, but I don't want to be a Peter Pan who has following the lead or the lead. No, not that. And I know the difference between a Wendy and a Peter Pan information and that which is instead what I learn. Why? Because my ears are not hearing what I want to hear. No, I have a Jacob ear because I have secure attachment with self. Jacob, you know what, Jacob? I got that from a rabbi. Yes, this rabbi, and I got a lot of mixed information. So here's where my spirituality information. So for one, I'm here thanks to Jesus and God. I just can't always use that word God because I'm a Reiki master, and theologians have decided to make Reiki out to be evil energy. I'm a tarot card reader, and that apparently, even as a teenager, I knew they decided that it's evil. Then what else? Oh, yes, I do Akashic record readings, and I have past life regressions. And you know what I did find out? Thank you, Daniel Siegel and all the neuroscientists, that they look into the relational field and the quantum physicists. So again, we know where Wendy's are at, and Peter Pan's versus I still need to read. I can't wait, Sabine, the existential physics book from Sabine, so that I can put practical knowledge. Okay, so I'm stupid lady for those who want to say it, and I say yes, I'm willfully ignorant about a lot of things, but if there are things that I'm not ignorant on is how a human is made, because I support people to be their self. So the inner growth mindset, I did research on my own, psychology, sociology, existentialism, and then I supported continuing with courses and material like we're doing also here. Now, though, what you have is a person who has not only the wisdom, the understanding, but also the integrated knowledge. However, it's thanks to, let me think, not my solo self. I cannot be alone, even though solo poly, we lead a life where we walk a walk and talk a talk with a secure base here, safe haven here. I don't need you to give me a thumbs up. In fact, I don't need that at all. And I have no intention of feeling inadequate because I learned as a teenager I ain't inadequate. And as a kid, and thank you, mother, she taught me self-respect, it's called. The thing is, when you have a 3-year-old who looks at a human being who's a grown-up and says, you can't spank me, it's my body. And then once they're done spanking you, you go and make your suitcase. This is a differentiated self. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. This is what it means to never lose your inner child. I'm a representation of pure unconditional love, pure consciousness. And when somebody writes on posts things like, we're not here to master unconditional love, humans, it's like, okay, how many scars do you want for doing emotions? You want candy? Some of us smile because we mean it, not because we pretend. And it's also because every time you get sad, it's about connection. It's not about tragedy. So human love is over here because my body is a secure attachment. I can say I got lucky. What I won't keep doing is, oh, let me whine a little bit more about emotions. No, the people want to be their self. They want to do emotions. They know all about it. So they're not going to hide the fact that there's trauma stuff. They're going to want to get rid of it because it's hellhole in a body, and there's an explanation, and it's not a story in the movies. The people who want the capes, they want a story. So we leave that. Okay, with self and other, why other? Spirituality and the definition. Let me not forget to read things that I want to read to you all, because Daniel gives me some really good quotes. Well, I actually love Sadhguru too. Your contribution to the world is you. How you live, how joyful you are, everything has an impact. Yes, being you. Now, some people say, oh, but that's changing you. So I don't feel changed because I'm an expanding piece of consciousness, which is why I don't have these huge tower moments. The ones who have to hit rock bottom before they can figure it out, that's unfortunate. It's called a shame cycle from childhood trauma stuff. And you could go get healed, but instead people walk around like Peter Pan and Pinocchio and Cusco. They say drinking, fucking, drugging, and doing anything. Oh, yes, also going to things that are re-traumatizing. Yeah. So what I've noticed, and I'm going to keep on reminding myself, there are events that the people in the mystic community continue to disregard the need to have good therapists around with them. So FYI, I'm attachment trauma informed. I'm not a therapist, but I can effectively already share how to handle if something happens, which is very important. I learned and continue to learn from my courses, and ICBM 4 on trauma alone. And I learned how to make sure to try for me, a human being who walks the planet, not look in the eyes of people who are looking away from me. And I've noticed when somebody's compartmentalizing. And I have the honor to be a direct communicator, and so I don't bullshit people. And in a lovely conversation, it was last week, yeah, I did get described what I had already been told by my lovely trauma experts, that when a person looks in the eyes of another, my brain has no trauma charges. I'm a empowered woman who's being myself since the day I was 3, telling my mother not to spank me, and being a differentiated self, telling my biological father by the 3rd time he calls me the wrong name, I'm Maria. And I don't even know how I said it, but I'm pretty sure I said it, I'm Maria, because that's how my mother tells it to me. And I'm sure I kept on repeating that, because one thing is clear to my body is, you told me to be me. Now you're telling me to do something different. You just confused me, but I'm not going to make any decision. I'm going to sit in Jacob. And that's why I'd go to the corner and sit in silence so that I could think. See, I don't have nightmares in my brain because I have a child-centric environment. I have gooey, ooey, ooey, and I was left alone. In fact, I used the word depressed. I'm pretty sure grown-up gave me that word because a child don't know depression. Not, yeah. I remember being a child. I believed in a lot of things, and I chose to continue to believe that with my lovely twin, because we're like, you know what? Even if it's not real, who cares? We're going to still pretend because it's fun. And that's what you do when you're an inner child adult your entire life, because you have a child-centric environment. So what you see is being you with secure attachment with self and other. I don't discriminate humans. That doesn't mean that I'm friends with everyone. In fact, the one dude who's 50 plus and over, I'm sure he'll gonna say, you discriminated me. I'm not decent enough for you to be my friend. No, you're a leech and you don't know healthy boundaries, and you're a sad story of a human being who needs personal development and you don't want to do it. And this is where it's the way people want to use words for a healthy, self-empowered woman, self-worth. Yeah, it's basically use it, manipulate however you wish a word. I can manipulate if I want to too. What I'm not doing is trying to prove I'm right. I'm actually explaining a situation, which, in my opinion, any smart person will know. They don't have to like it. Nobody likes when somebody says, yeah, I can be objective and I can actually get to the data because I'm not here to tell you a story. I don't care about it. I can tell a story. See, Jacob Ears can tell a story. It's why we don't follow Wendy's or Peter Pan, and we don't usually like them, because what we know, and see, this is an expanding piece of consciousness I have to share with you. When you speak to expanding pieces of consciousness, they don't like stories either, because we're telling our own story. And we can tell a storyteller a mile away. And when a storyteller has a pain point, you can tell that one too. You have a 0-1-year-old. If you don't get home to yourself, love is freedom and joy. Yeah, if you don't get home to yourself, attachment is bondage and misery. Go watch how many sagas, those with the twin flame. I got twin flames. It's not a competition, but I can tell you there ain't no saga in my world. No, there's bring it on. Choice points. I'm choosing love. What are you choosing? I'm choosing talking. What are you choosing? I'm choosing that spirituality and the journey has nothing to do with another human being, because it's all about this body and this mind. Okay, so the divine feminine, the divine masculine. And when they started to also, by the way, what I'm going to say is state that the divine feminines are the more woke, that was the minute I was like, ego. You all got mantles, because this is where the gauge is no longer we're on an even plane. No, you're actively in your mouth saying I am better and doing something better. You're not spirituality. And I'm laughing because I can't believe that people don't hear themselves. But then again, I forget Stephen Porges. Thank you. When a maladaptive adaptive child is in the forefront, what you got is a safety behavior. You got a yellow and a red. That means attach, cry, collapse, submit, please, appease. Yes, fight, flight, freeze, flop, drop. And I know all of those because when you meet Cusco's consistently, it's a 3-year-old with a teenager who wants to tell you, excuse me, you're confusing spirituality and sciences. This has happened. This is one of my recurring stories. It will be as I was talking to somebody else. I'm 44. This was probably like last year, 43, 42. So this human being is about my age, and it's a male. It doesn't matter what gender they are. Men do it, women do it. The women get passive aggressive. That's, I think, something about being the same gender. So they just feel that they know they can't tell me something. The men, it's more of, I don't like to say this, men. Because, see, to me, you can't be a man if you don't know how to be an emotionally mature human being. Like, you can't be I'm saying a grown person. You're still an adolescent. You're still the 12 to 24 brain, but you're not a actually maturing one. So you're fizzling out. And that's a whole not. So I learned from people who have gender stereotypes that men apparently need to be treated like babies and that they have a small ego that gets really irked easily. And I don't like to be a crutch to anyone. Because, see, being a crutch would mean that I don't have faith that you can do it and get up and walk. And I have faith that you can get up and walk. So much so, here's another fun story. I would fall and get up, fall and get up, fall and get up. By the time that I finally started to walk, my twin, she observed, and she started walking without ever falling. And you know what? Here's where science brings in a story about our herds. The herd, not the human herd. It's an elephant story. And I think this was Robert Sapolsky. I don't remember, but it's one of those videos. It's an interview. It's a data thing they've done. And it shows how there's 3 different ways that herds collaborate. And one of them has an elephant. And the elephant, they need to work together to get the food. And so it shows the first batch, they work together. The second, it shows that one, he knows what's going to happen, but he or she or they put the foot on the cord and has the other elephant doing all the work. So we have that equation. Now, here's where, do you think in my Maria body, when I think about this, I'm not going to use words that do come to mind, because some could say, wow, that's lazy. So, you know, the difference between animals is they don't speak and they just do, right? And they be all in one go. So when you do and be in all one go, there you go. Secure attachment with self and other. I'm happy that my sister didn't have to fall. Why would I not be happy? Could I feel that that's not fair? Am I a teenager who wants to spite the entire world because somehow nobody understands me? I remember being a teenager and noticing we're all saying this. I think what we mean is our family doesn't, that they're grown-ups, though. They're not meant to understand us. In fact, here's where Daniel Siegel, you're awesome. So Daniel, in this course, as Consciousness and Change, this is the other one, he talks about, I think I have it in my notes right here, he talks about meeting some group of teenagers, and the teenagers say something along the lines about, this is why adults hate us. Adults must hate us because we have this essence. And so it's emotional, social, it's emotional, something, emotional spark, because he likes acronyms. Social engagement, which is true connection, which happens only when you're being you. If you're not being your whole 3-year-old heart, you can't be you. Essence and novelty, so new things. In fact, the adolescent knows how to be a blank slate. I know how to be a blank slate so well. It's amazing when you're soft in your head. Yes, so feelings, thoughts, it's soft, flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. This is integrated brain. So I can explain to you how you can be you like this now, which is why it's great. Because anybody before, why would I want to be me? Now I know how not to answer that question. I already knew how not to, because I'm like, wow, you don't love yourself. I told teenagers that. Now I have the explanation. It's none of my business to tell anybody why they don't want to be their self. But I can share with my community, because if you're here, it's for personal development, self-help. And let me grab another quote, because Sadhguru has a good one too, on the purpose of life. Yes, the purpose of, Existence is to exist. Thank you, Sadhguru. It is too enormous, intricate, and fantastic to need any other purpose. Yes, but he doesn't know how to give you why that is. I do. It's called restorative embodiment self awareness. Look it up, and really, it's just restorative embodiment. That's what I am right now. So you have all the senses, five, the sixth, interoception. Then you also have interconnectedness because I'm not afraid of humans and I'm not a misanthropist. They hate, dislike, and mistrust humans. I don't. In fact, I'm going to read to you something that I actually got the capacity to create. It was a laboratory, really fun. Okay, and let me remember what else was I going to share because I know there was something about notes. That's why we are here, and I'm here with all these books. And I also wanted to touch upon the trauma memory part because we have two videos out today. You can watch them if you'd like, but I wanted to continue because the one that is 10 minutes, I was cut short. Okay, so I don't remember anymore which one of the notes I was going to read you, but it's okay. It's unimportant as we continue our conversation on being you and secure attachment with the self. It's something, attachment categories, styles, true spirituality. That's right. From Daniel Siegel's course. That's what I was looking for. So it's a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. Okay, and so when you know how to live a life beyond the solo self, so I'm happy, example, for my twin who didn't have to fall and get up. I don't have to judge her lazy. And I won't. That's not nice. That's also not true because we all have a different tolerance and or not and or anyways, why am I in some other body and brain, human being and body brain business? There's a saying that I got repeated. So remember, Terry Real, as he shares, we hold ourselves the way we were held, and we held others, partners included, the way we were held. So I was held with equanimity, and I was explained with the patience of a patience, and sometimes not patiently, but it doesn't matter. I still explain things eventually. Explanation is a beautiful place because that's why my left mode asks about jokes. I want to understand. I can laugh about it, but now my left mode wants to understand because they're partners in crime. My left and right, yes, they put your foot in and your foot out, all of it, and you wiggle around. So if you want to paint, first you need an empty canvas. If you want to know music, you need to know silence. Sadhguru. And you heard about silence for a 5D mystic empowered woman. Yeah, bring it on. This is where bring it on. So I don't do the bring it on challenge in the way of a teenager who's on an attitude to spite humanity. I learned as a teenager, grown-ups are right, kids are unreliable. They do a lot of things that are stupid. And therefore, I'm going to have learned that they're wrong about whatever other stuff. No, the part about here, let me tell you how to do life. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and figure that one out. But I'm not going to change who I am. I'm just going to sit here with whatever you're giving me as feedback. Because, see, my social system isn't feeling inadequate. Again, my mother explained, you be you, your twin be your twin. You're not the same. You're two different people. So when you get told difference is not inadequacy, difference is not better or worse, different means different. And you get completely made to know it's not charged, not sad, not mad, not anything. Because the 3-year-old who knows how to share a home is a 3-year-old who knows how to be spirituality and your journey. Please get off of Elsa's journey. Get home to your 1-year-old. Get home to your 2-year-old. Get your implicit memory, the first 3 years of your life. If this is hard, we have good therapists. Personality disorders are healable. Trauma is healable. It's minimizable. And the person who can motivate it's you. So the only thing that I'm going to continue to say is self and other is not a solo journey. Your nervous system didn't learn to regulate in the self-soothing mechanism of what is my nervous system. If you don't feel good being around people, now, we can have situations take place, and we all will know those. The part that's more important is when you know how to gauge what you feel emotionally. If it's overwhelming, you listen to your body. And overwhelming means that you can, if you want, if it's something important to you, process it with a good therapeutic session and more, or good personal development. Every person knows them. I know how to note and say, okay, this one, I'm going to say we want extra help because the experts know how to work with a nervous system that might need just extra, I use words, It's if somebody has consciousness barriers and memory barriers, if they're aware of it, and I've met people that are. I have a friend, he has alters, but he's aware of all of it. So as long as you're aware and you're capable because you care about others to keep moderating that maladaptive child behavior, and that means you continue wanting to expand and love more people, then you're going to do it. Some they need extra support, and those people know where to go. And it's not personal development alone because I'm not the neuroscientist in charge. And that's where the pathologizing, it's not about pathologizing, but you want to get a person who's accredited, like a Dr. Daniel Fox, a good therapist. The bad ones, we don't want them, but they are going to exist, and we're going to leave it alone for now. Just saying, good ones, one, they have EMDR, child parts work, somatics at the very least, because there are those, I've met them. After sharing with them everything about the somatic body, they completely say things like this: I have a gazillion billion ways to refute what you just said, to challenge. And I'm thinking, I didn't bring to you a challenge. I brought to you colleagues of yours. This is a therapist. And I died. Now I was humored. Let me finish with the humor story. Because, see, I get humored when I meet teenagers who are 3-year-olds who are impressing nobody except for maybe their father, mother, whoever it is they're doing whatever they're doing for. Okay, so I'll conclude 2 stories. One, the person who interrupted me saying, "You're confusing spirituality and sciences." No, no, I'm bringing them together. I said, no, 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 I'm a mystic too. Uh, what, you're Reiki master too? Yes, yes. Okay, I'm bringing them together. No, 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 let me show you. And he shows me his tattoos, which were really beautiful, by the way. And one is Buddha and one is about quantum physics. So I know that we're on the same page. I just know he keeps on saying I'm confusing. I'm not, no, I'm bringing them together. I'm making a point of sharing something that brings your human body into a picture. Spiritual bypasser, because that's what you're going to end up becoming. It's a mantle on Elsa's journey. And that's because they don't use their human name. Use your human name, hear your ears. How do you do emotions? Are you good? Okay, so when you're self aware, it's not about not sharing. The difference is the way that people will use their words makes it clear you're not contributing. I know who contributes because I've had different types of people in my life that are contributing, and that's because they present a conversation. It's not a challenge. Challenges are very different. This is the teenager, I'm right, you're wrong, adaptive child, thank you, Terry Rio, who's bringing to you self-bridled expression. They've already began in a certain way. The minute you begin saying no, they rebuttal once, twice. By the third time, I know the 3-year-old wants a floor. I don't want to deal with you. I'm curious now. So here's where this person who says to me, he gave me this absurd trillion number of ways. And that's when I was like, wow, now this is fucking amazing, because we just finished saying we wanted to help people. And you just told me that you don't want to help people because you're ignoring the body part with all of whatever it is that I don't even know. So now I'm curious, but you need to go. Before you go, since you said you can challenge everything, I just stated, how would you treat a patient that comes to you for therapy? Well, I would make them no. The thing that gets me is when somebody describes to me what they're wearing first. He described to me what he was wearing, including a little bow tie, sitting down, and somebody immediately said he must be Freudian, learning from Freud and stuff. And I'm gonna be sitting in my seat with my notebook. They're gonna lay down on the whatever table, wherever or couch, I don't know, and they come in 3 times a week, and that's how I'm gonna help them. So there's that. And I just said, okay, thank you so much for telling me. It was a pleasure meeting you. And there you go. You keep on walking, because there's no reason for me to do anything else except for my head. I'm like, wow. So awareness, it is maximal uncertainty, which means when you're in awareness, you will deal with literally whatever certainty and uncertainty has come into your life and has been. And those first 3 years are implicit memory. So again, implicit memory is something to be taken seriously. Now, I'm going to organize, as we have extended to, I think, I don't want to keep you too much more, but the journey. So spirituality awakening, it's you being able to be yourself as a human being if you use your name and if you understand attachment trauma is not made up shit. And some people, they just don't like what they're finding. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that. I just know that we have mantles of mental health, because anybody who tells you they're immune to a narcissist is a mantle. They obviously didn't hear what just came out of their mouth. They're stigmatizing a group of people who have a self like they do. Don't bring in devils or demons because, again, Patrick McNamara explains the brain and how it works. You want data? I got data. They're building quantitative data, in fact. So there's a difference. Anybody who's smart doesn't basically say, oh, that one person said 1%, and they are from that job. And anytime somebody uses, by the way, certain types of docu-series as their example, yeah, some of us are like, sure, okay, that's a trending buzzword, but I'm going to leave it alone because I know what point you're trying to make. Like the Zen master with his laundry in the body, you're trying to make a point. That ain't a clear point. You're actually going to create what is, in my book, a group. The group that says, oh, see, they can't be enlightenment. Those who smile are depressed. They're pretending. There's toxic positivity. And so people like to use words like that. I don't use words like that. I make conversation, and that's why I don't actually try to keep you hooked into a message. If you want personal development one-to-one, that's offered. You want Ask Maria, that's offered too. They're paid subscription-based model content, the Ask Maria. But what I'm saying is I come here to chit-chat and share information, always have, in a helpful way. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm saying you can be you, and I am me. And now that I know how to say, I'm with a secure attachment self. That's why the solo poly journey, yeah, we learn to love more people. I'm remembering the one quote that I wanted to get, because bring it on. I want to end with our lovely, what is his name? Cusco, when they're at the waterfall, the Emperor's New Groove. That's how it feels when somebody says, you can't love all people, really. Try me. I do. You know, okay, fine. You want to bring me to where you want to bring me? Sure. Bring me on, bring me down the path to your way of thinking. I know that I'm in your head now. That's good. You don't know what my head is, and you want to say that you do, and I'll leave it alone, because why would I bother trying to be in your left brain? I have my right and my left right here, and I'm not even vibing in whatever frequency you're vibing in, because it's a poor inner child that isn't going to be ever uncovered. So I learned a long time ago how to leave it alone. Because all these people, Maria, humans suck, men suck, women suck, everybody sucks, everything sucks. Wow. Thank you, Sadhguru. New challenging situations are possibilities, not problems. Yes, that is exactly it. But a person who has dysfunction and dysregulation, okay, so yeah, their adaptive child is an unhealed trauma stuff. And that is why the behavior is unkind. And so if you don't get the adaptive child and maladaptive child behavior into the forefront, which means that you notice that we all have, at the very least, these 6 basic emotions, and then they turn into other feelings, and they existed and they still exist. But now that we don't live, all of us, with tigers, bears, and we don't need them the same way. So we've developed a way that we use them. And people like to use Cain and Abel stories and demons and devil stories, and no. There's 5D mystic stories, yes, plenty of them. They're fun. And there's spirituality and science is like this. It's not confusing to the open mind who is enjoying this as we speak. Anger, sadness, fear, happiness, disgust, surprise. And emotion has surprise, 3 parts to it. Oh, look, a subjective experience, a physiological response. Oh, a behavior one. And then let's go to another lovely quote. Let me go and find our lovely Lindquist, Kristen. Powerful emotions feel like irrefutable facts. Effective realism. I wonder. So, your ability to read the room, does it keep you away from people? Because that's exactly where mantles are at. They're consistently talking about love, and then I see them walking away. Just to walk away, right? There's songs about walking away. I grow more curious by the minute. As long as my body's happy, then I'm happy. If my body says no, my nervous system says, this is really overwhelming, that's a no. It's a no, because I like to be able and stay within my window of welcome to life. And when people say, well, that's just, no, why not? Why not go out into the why? I have 24 hours. You think in my 24 hours I want to feel fear or upset or disgust or no? Why would I do that? I don't have to do any of that. In fact, this is the part of where people like to use words to share how we choose. Yes, some of us choose love on purpose. We choose happiness on purpose. We choose to disengage from that which we don't have to. It's not a movie. Life has its uncertainties and unwanteds. Yes, it's called I need money to live. It's called if I have earthquake going on, I need to figure out, long. It's called like serious stuff. Let's help recycle. Let's do actual business. So why would I use my energy in a way, because that's what happens, that doesn't serve something that can serve also, by the way, the future. Okay, so being you is very easy again with secure attachment with self and other, and it's called I'm not comparing me, but I am flawed and imperfect to some people as they will be flawed and imperfect to me. And you know what? Spirituality, if they're not on a journey, I'll know because they're a human suffering love person who's not going to bring me anything except for I have a million ways to challenge you. Luckily for them, I'm curious because I'm a blank canvas. I'm like, wow, now I need to find out how you reason because I know how I reason. I'm knowingness to me. I don't know you, so I'm curious. Why am I curious? Because I'm a blank canvas who loves to learn. I don't know everything. Do you think I know everything? I don't know a whole bunch of things. I don't know when I'm going to die. That's the most excruciating thing ever. No, it's not. Not anymore. I dealt with it a long time ago. Okay, so personal development is straightforward for those who can handle all their emotions. The ones who have a bigger challenge, it depends. Okay, and that's where all people are healable. And the part that's most important, that they feel safe with the person. So this has been made clear, and I have also been made clear by people that I do work with and that I do share about what I do. And this one was really beautiful actually because this person said, no, I wouldn't want to work with a therapist. I would want to work with you if I had to do anything, because they compartmentalize. And I was talking about important things, and I noticed that they were compartmentalizing because of being attachment trauma informed. And here's why I do make it my mission, if I know people doing anything like reflective practices, to tell them what Daniel Siegel told me. Anything that is in the space of awareness brings up certainty and uncertainty. A person who doesn't take seriously themselves doesn't know that their first 3 years of life, it could be a hellhole. And if you're thinking nightmares, well then. And if you have nightmares and dreams and stuff like that, well, okay, it's serious. And the deflecting isn't going to change that. But there are those who don't want to do anything. They like the stories, devils, evils, demons. They like to just, be in the whole, no, everything out there sucks. And that's what the doomsday. That's a childhood personality that we got from Patrick Tian, the doomsdayer. It's like everything nice you can say, they'll come back with something that's negative. Then we got the hostile, we got the doer, the ghost, and then we got the are we good? Okay, so you'll notice when you have a child in the room, and you'll make sure to leave it alone, because it's if they're aware of who they are, meaning I have things that I haven't emotionally and mentally dealt with from my childhood that I'm aware of, and that I can consistently notice my inconsistencies. So when people are inconsistent with their mouth, I notice. I notice how not to say things to those who are Cusco's, because you know what Cusco does at the end? Once he does the whole bring it on, and then finally, after basically wanting to kill off Pacha, which he doesn't, um, they get to the end, and instead of telling him, I was mistaken, Pacha, I was being a completely selfish asshole, quote unquote. And now that I've met you and we've hung out and did it, I can tell that I want to hang out with you more because I enjoy you, because you're all of the things. Who knows? Just saying, I want to live next to you. So I don't want to destroy your home anymore. I want to live near you. How can we make this happen? Okay. He doesn't do any of this. No, he does this indirect communication, which it's bullshit. Empowered woman, bullshit. I'll smile at it, but it's bullshit. It tells me everything about how little you want to actually dive within yourself. But I get it, because this is where it's a personal choice. So the spirituality journey, yeah, you choose. Kundalini awakening. Again, there's a lot of different ways that people make it look like something humongous, if you will, but that's because we'll talk about it, not in this one, but there's going to be 5D Mystic Chit Chat on those conversations. And it is not because of anything except for the 5D collective of mystics will be here for that, and anybody who's curious. Because, yeah, watching people who are 4D tell you stories like mental warfare energy thing, and then you having it happen, and it's like, what? That's not, what do you, that's not mental. They're just somebody in my energy sphere. Get away. I have had this happen. This is where, but see, that's why I'm like, it's woo woo, because it's all in my mind's eye. It's fine. Oh, but that's the 5D mystics need to hear this, because they're good with their body. And so I know they're like, okay, once they have, you need to have twos to compare, right? Okay, so we're going to do, when you have in front of you a secure attachment, like right now, enlightenment soul age group, there's no laundry here because I love my emotions and I love my thoughts. The challenge, you want to know what a challenge is? If somebody tells me they believe in love, or if somebody, no, no, if you tell me you don't believe in love, you just told me everything. If you tell me you don't believe in yourself, you told me everything. I'm not going to be doing anything except for being a support. If you want, I'll be a friend. I'll be, it depends. However, I will not be trying to get you to uncover the beauty of the depths of you, because I know that you're not interested. If you tell me you're interested in love, well, now I'm going to be curious of what this word means to you, and not like a movie. No, because love is a secure attachment right here. So that's the challenge. And it's actually very beautiful when you meet people who do move into being their self, and they move into their journey. And they're not all in the enlightenment soul age group, but a person who's connected, which is what a mystic can tell you. Anyone that talks about being a divine feminine and doesn't have full compassion, they're not a divine feminine, not yet. As Sadhguru has us promising one by one to love all people unconditionally, he uses the word mother. We all know why mother's used. And I'm going to give you the explanation. It's if your inner child in you, from your 0-1, attached, panicky, 3-7, shame, submissive, freeze of all ages, flight 11-12, fight 14-15-16. If you don't have those charges in the forefront, and if you don't know how to be here and know that your emotions and thoughts are never irrefutable facts, never. If you know this, then great. Keep on coming. You're going to enjoy yourself. Because, see, again, the only time I thought my emotions and thoughts were irrefutable facts was when I was an 8-year-old. And so this is the part. Notice how your brain works. If you actively feel that your thoughts are true when you're thinking, well, that's presenting to you. That's not the case. You don't have to equate it into, people get lost in the whole what society is doing. Those who get confused with needing to love themselves first and making it into basically a selfish game, it's going to be clear that we have a teenager in the house. What do teenagers do? They try to act all big and bad. And what does a dog that bark do? It don't bite. Okay, so facades are facades for people who understand we're all humans. Pacha tells Cusco, you have a heart. I know you do. I've been taught this. I got taught the same. The difference is it's not a movie. And I know it for a fact because it's a fact that you have a body. It's so simple. My high school, I learned about life, biology. Life always wants to be life. The only people who think of anyone not wanting life are the same people who don't have a relationship with it, which is why they will say, life took this away from me. I know life never takes anything away from me, which is why rejection ain't no protection. That's bullshit. It's just a way to what? You don't know how to process. I'm sad about something that I didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Oh, I know how to process that. I've become a champ at it. But see, it's not true because I have everything I could ever want in life. In fact, anytime something has happened that I didn't want, I'm like, okay, bring it on, life. Let's see what we got. And I have grown to have more fun. In fact, I have plenty of stories. I won't share them. They got shared when they were meant to be shared. But being you, it's when you have secure attachment with yourself and other people. And that's what happens anytime you're presented with a challenge. So come on over if you enjoy the inner growth mindset. It's dealing with uncertainty, unwanted, unexpected. It's dealing from it from here. But we want to get that 0-1-year-old online. So that's the most important part, because that one, for example, for people with secure attachment, they have a whole self. It's straightforward. That longing is the fear of inadequacy. It's also not wanting to be alone. So there's a suffering, and that's the why all people are interested in relationships, the monoamory particularly. And I get that. I get it because I get it explained. So you want to be seen, to be soothed. Your nervous system does. to feel safe, to feel secure, to be yourself. That's why you see people prancing around when they say, "Oh, I found the one." I got to move beyond the one. And I knew that when I was moving beyond the one, that was going to be a great day to look back upon because it brought me to more of me, which is unconditional love. That's pure consciousness. It is something that you master and embody, and it is part of the human experience. It's called enlightenment soul age group without no laundry. And here, moving beyond spirituality soul age group. So hearing Sadhguru and all his quotes and then equating it to the human being integrated brain and a restorative embodiment. That's what you get to achieve if you want to. You don't have to. So a lot of people are like, no, 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 Maria, all these humans, all this shit happens. Okay, fine. You keep on talking. Have fun with the people over there. Okay, we're gonna have fun over here. So being you, I'm translating. It's once you get home to yourself, according to the updated attachment trauma. That's what I'm gonna add so that we can make sure to know. So the authentic self of any person is not the shame cycle of you because the shame is a defectiveness that you didn't choose. Your 0 1 year old didn't say, I want to be defective. No, it didn't get secure attachment. It didn't get consistent contingent communication. This means when you needed food, you didn't get it. When you needed to get a diaper change, you didn't get it. And it isn't about you always having everything. No, because if you get always everything, that's not going to help. That's going to make something different, which we don't want and which we have, but we can work with them if they work with themselves. Okay, so what you want, in fact, is a third attunement and repairing ruptures. And so you want to put a little bit of this stress on the nervous system because, it's like a muscle. And when anybody understands the mechanism, so you have two nervous system responses. One is your safety behavior reptilian, and the other is your mammalian, and that's your prefrontal cortex. If in the first year of life you weren't given that secure attachment, you have an underdeveloped right mode of the brain. If you have had emotional, physical, mental abuse, all of it, neglect, you will have had certain areas of your brain not developed. This is what knowledge does. Helps you to say, stop treating people like shit because, again, they're people, not demons or devils or anything like that. Being you, it's not about being an asshole around. Those are the mantle people. Let's help them leave their stuff. I thought 3D 4D was going to go somewhere. They're not. At least not for now. They don't believe in the sciences. The sciences, they're consistently building data. So the truth is, I understand why. There's what are they called? There's holes. There's holes in their, so anytime you find, they don't know this, that's where you got a Wendy. Look, see, they don't know this. We're going to tell Peter Pan about this. Get the lost boys, get the lost girls, get the lost days. Hey, come on over here. And they make up some fancy, it's really cute to see them, by the way. Okay, so thank you for stopping by. Join, like, share, subscribe. That way we can get to our 1K. Besides personal development, self-help 1-to-1, if you want to put into practice the inner growth mindset. If you're interested in any of the toolkits for the mystic stuff, let me know. Remember, theologians from the Christian group have decided that Reiki is a yucky energy. I want to say that out of respect for anyone because this is very important for us. Like with mindfulness and meditation, they have created secular ones so that people who are like, I don't want to do it. Okay, so we want to remember to respect differences. Just because some of us have an interesting idea of expansion doesn't mean everybody. Some people feel that we are stupid in the way that we will go about living life as we move forward, and some people will think that we are completely in this Luciferian era and evil, and they just, you name it, the stories that they can come up with. I thought, I didn't realize that there's that many people who need to be entertained. And again, I'm not a person who told my teenage friends, great job, you're doing great. I said, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. And I learned how not to say that because I'm stupid too. And I learned just to mind my own business. Who does for themselves does for three. And lies, well, they always come to the surface, which is why I don't try to read anybody's mind. And the only people who still do that, even with clairs, are the ones who don't have a 0 1-year-old in the forefront. And that's actually sad because they're in a safety behavior, the reptilian nervous system. So they don't learn to trust anyone because you can't trust somebody if you're not being vulnerable with them, if you don't know how to be yourself. And that's what a lot of people, they go to therapy with their person, the one, Terry Real, Daniel Siegel. Peter Levine doesn't take anybody anymore because I don't know what he's doing with research and stuff, but he's no longer a therapist. But all these people have told me in my courses how couples, so a couple, you see my face because, I'm going to be like, you don't know how to tell me about you sad, angry, mad. Do I need to go back to the ancient times so that I can explain it to you? Okay, because I can explain what emotions are. It's called I'm going to tell you everything. Yes, not just some things. And if I have a nervous system that's getting anxious, I can tell you that too. This is what I'm trying to get. The point is, I've noticed those who cannot be themselves because they do not secure attachment with self and others, so they are not the true spirituality person, and they're not even sciences people. Yes, to this day, at my 44 years of age, low self esteem, indirect communicators, passive aggressive, don't know healthy boundaries, don't want to learn them. Do they want to bring on a challenge? They don't bring me a challenge, they bring their wheel of karma. So it's very interesting because when you have people who don't know that we know what we know, yeah, we just leave it alone. Again, Pacha don't lecture Cusco for a reason. We like to talk, not lecture. And I'm not anybody's mother. I don't want babies. I want people to chit chat like you do, right? Okay, so authenticity. It's very beautiful when you find empowered women, men, and theys because they're going to be intellectually and emotionally intelligent, aware. They won't bring you their behavior in the absence of knowing who they are. They'll bring you their behavior and know exactly who they are and what they're working with and how to talk about it with respect to everyone and anything, because that's what it's called to be a functional adult, which is what we do here as well. 5D relationships. So we don't have mantles. At IHP, there's not going to be mantles because I'm not a mantle. I'm not right. I'm here to support inspiring human potential, the infinite higher human conscious potential that you can achieve. It's your restorative embodiment. Self aware, not aware. No, you have to be aware, but with the knowledge. And on that note, and no scars. Again, we don't want any medals. It's called decent human being. Thank you, Jesus. He taught me all about it. So did God. Again, whatever other stories are, put it all to the side because it's not love. When you have focused attention, I'm breathing, awareness, stuff comes up. If it comes up and you can always have fun with it, that's good. It means that the pain isn't overwhelming. It means you have a window of welcome to your emotions. Great. If you don't, then we want to expand the window of tolerance before you do anything. Do not do over. People want to rush it. You rushing is not the sliver. So I described the sliver of fear. Okay, so when you understand what you're learning, and this means that you have integrated the knowledge, I got described what it feels like for people who have dysregulated, modulated, embodied selves, and that it's torture and it's hell. It's a hellhole. There's gut wrench, torn apart, and self-loathing, just blah, and it's not blah because it's like actual painful blah. So that's why there's out of body experiences, dissociation, and numbness. So if you're learning about yourself and in the right way, you're going to know how not to expand the window of tolerance beyond what is you want to sliver. Otherwise, you are going offline, which re-traumatizes you. And people are not responsible when they're doing all of activities that they're doing out there. I am going to make it my mission to try and repeat it. It's okay. I'm woo-woo lady. Sure. I know where I got my data. Okay. So the infinite possibility is when you stay in your prefrontal cortex, when you integrate what's coming up, not when you overwhelm your nervous system. Overwhelming does not create safer space. No, it just creates a reliving of something that's not going to be fun. So I have it with fear, or I had it, and I know why, because fear is my dominant emotion, which I thank my body to this day. I don't want it to change because fear and anxiety are there to keep us safe. Now that I am learning how to master physical, yes, so that I can do Maria with greater ease, because there's so many things that get me anxious. And so I laugh about it, but I work with it with my own way. I don't want to do it another person's way because I know my window of welcome and my window of tolerance. So I know how to keep myself where it's a good space. And that's every time you learn about good therapy, that's where they're going to walk you through this. So nobody needs to rush anyone for any reason whatsoever. And so, anyways, what I was trying to get to is my lovely caregiver mother has always pushed me to do things, even when I'm scared, especially because of I need you to be able to go and fly away. This is called you are safe haven. I know how to regulate my nervous system, but you're going to go out into the world, which is not always safe, and I'm not going to always be there. And so she can tell, like any caregiver, she or they or he now, right? If you are a third of attunement, repairing ruptures, it's because you can read the eyes and the body language, and it's not in a way that's over or under. It's like the Goldilocks. It's the perfect soup, okay? And so, with that being said, I knew consistently as I got older that I'm getting pushed outside my comfort zone as a child. One of the stories is that she put me on this little Ferris wheel and I wouldn't take my eyes off of her. And I'm like, why'd you put me on it? Another one is she got to throw my twin and I in the pool just because that's how she got taught how to swim. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm pretty sure my body didn't like that. But we began swimming, laughing. Okay, so again, those trauma charges, they stay and then they come and unfold, which is where I'm thinking those panic attacks, part of it, probably, yeah, a lot of freeze stuff coming up because fear is the dominant. So it's like, okay, so with that being said, in this demo that I'm doing in one of my courses, I start to get a very specific sensation as I'm working with my body, not doing what I wanted it to do from a dream. So we're working through a dream. And I noticed it because it was like glass, but it wasn't just there. It was like poking at it. I was like, okay, now I know what they're talking about. And that's when I said, wow. And after this class, I cried. I was so sad because I think of dysregulated, modulated, embodied people and all that I learned about somatic and somatic therapy, which is why this asshole psychologist who basically says to me, I have a gazillion ways to challenge you, who just finished a degree, got a girlfriend, they're all going to go off and be therapists. And you tell me that you're going to lay a person down. You completely disregarded all data that I just told you. That's bullshit. You don't give a shit about what you're doing. You just made daddy, mommy happy, especially because you described to me exactly what you were going to wear in order for you to do that job. And you described to me your setting. So this is where, does everybody care? Yeah, everybody cares. How do you care about what you're learning? Because if you're telling me that you want to help people with mental health and or with personal anything, and you don't know how to hear, and in my classes, I got people questioning the very experts because they want to speed up the process. It's like you did not hear that. You didn't hear that there's myelin first integration of brain is a process. Daniel explains it. There's 4 to 6 weeks, if not 8, for like neural receptors, new connections to be made. Then there's myelin that has to be laid down, and that's so there's a process for your body to actually reintegrate itself and to gain and to heal. So yeah, no shortcuts. Life is something that is beautiful, and anyways, I kept you longer than I wanted to, but for IHP, we're here to be our own authentic selves with secure attachment that now I can explain and I can continue my learning. And also the people who want to get here, they obviously will all be welcome, but with seriousness and with patience and not shortcuts and no prancing around with mantles of let me get a golden star. Okay, the people who want to talk about the challenges, they talk about it very authentically. I've seen people with personality disorders. You can tell from the tone. They're not like a little teenager. Guess what I got to do today? I got to meh, 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 meh. No, they're like, okay, look, we're just people. We're just people. That's what it means to be a person. And so welcome aboard, being you, secure attachment, self, true spirituality, a life of meaning, connection beyond the solo self. The self is a construct from your own home, your own emotions, sensations, images. The reason I knew the fear thing, by the way, is that I had a sensation, that little prickly, which I recognized as, okay, this is what that gut wrench stuff is. And then I had an image, and then I had a word, and the word was no, because the demo was, the question as I'm doing this demo was, are you angry at your body for not listening to you? And I said, no, I'm confused. But as I was answering, I also had an image appear, and then I had, okay, wait, since I've been a kid, I've been told I'm afraid, I'm afraid. It's true. What have I gotten? I've gotten pushback. So my 0 1 year old didn't get to just express it. My 2 year old, my 3 year old, my 4 year old, my 5, my 6, my 7, my 8, all the way up to my teen with this one emotion, which is my dominant emotion, did not get the full expression. What does Gabor Mate tell us about the expression of emotions? You must be accepted, lovingly accepted. What else? Make love easy and no suppression of emotions. And I forget his whole background, but he's talking about when you suppress. So when kids get yelled at because they're crying, yeah, That's unnecessary. That you want to direct, and of course, this is why they always say the therapist is not an ideal way of parenting. It's a third attunement, and you repair ruptures. So you explain. Once you've scolded, you explain. That helps them not to be ashamed of their self or the emotion. But you just scolding with no explanation. Also, the nervous system is very. There's a lot of different elements that are important, but the point is the explanation serves because it's a child. So anyone who knows how to lead a child-centric environment will give you the explanation, not expect you to be a grown-up, not expect you to know. And there's a lot of people, they actively, I see them with kids that are teens, they think they should know. And they completely don't have any subjective awareness. This is not your brain, is another person's brain, and you don't obviously. So now you all know about attachment trauma a little bit more. And so, yeah, the explanation serves for the child in the unconscious to not feel ashamed. And that is something important. It doesn't look like from the outside, but it does from here. And it's a relationship with emotions, which is why we have adults who need to go to therapy with their partner and or partners, and they still in therapy, this was the part, don't want to be vulnerable in therapy. So they're actively going, and even as they're going to therapy with the partner, they don't want to be vulnerable. That says everything about how little people have a relationship with their emotional plane, which is why we talk about it, and about being the self. And I will keep sharing for those who it's hard, who are doing the work. They don't express it as if, how dare that person give us the way out of our panic attacks? So you're telling me that I have to be within the sufferableness? Lady, man, this is the equation. You got an embodied brain. There is no shortcuts. You can accept it. You don't have to like it. Nobody likes it. Oh, it's not fun. In fact, out of spirituality awakening, Kundalini awakening, and all this stuff, the one thing that I completely, for my lovely mystic plane, the panic attacks. This is the one thing. Other than that, everything, it's not even a challenge, because when you meet how many people, they don't do love at all. They don't do secure attachment with their own self. That's my answer to why people can't be themselves, that don't know. Jesus told me how to just love and forgive, and that was easy. Then I came across Bezel van der Kolk, and I was like, okay. Because every time you're unsure of yourself, you look outside of you to see what other people are doing. But that's not actually this. It's your 1 year old. I seek to be seen. Am I sure? Am I doing it right? And guess what life is? Uncertainty. So who's going to accept that you don't know, right? Or wrong? Are you going to choose based on you or based on somebody else? But your instinct will be, I'm here. Get your safe haven, secure base, come on over. Become that lovely secure attachment with your own self and with others. It's because we love to be around each other, and we regulate in a lovely mammalian heritage of ours, prefrontal cortex. And so when we're around, we resonate, we attune, and we trust. In fact, it's because we're present. It's part present, attuning, resonance, and trusting. Oh, that's right. See, I remembered. I want to share with you something as we conclude our lovely first long episode. We might have more because I'm getting familiar with treating our episodes, like the audio. So I got to do this laboratory, I think it's called a workshop, the other day, no, yesterday, and I got to create something. And so it's something that allowed us to use our body. I recognize it because with my somatic courses, the Awakened Embodied Certificate course particularly, I got to put into practice a lot of these modalities, but also my somatopia trauma courses. And that's because every time we were doing something, they'd have us, okay, sit down, put your feet on the floor, breathe from the belly. So please remember, again, any reflective practices and anything like this, if it makes you uncomfortable, don't go over the limit. Notice it and pause. I did one of my art therapy exercises, the first or second course with somatopia, and it bothered my brain. One exercise, I was like, okay, this one got me uncomfortable. Nothing happened, but I was not happy. I don't know why. I was doing using both my hands. I didn't have the opportunity to exchange notes with my teachers, but basically, I just know they always repeat, don't go over that threshold. So the sentence that I created from this lovely little workshop. Let me see if I can, maybe I'll share on our YouTube channel, but I'll share it here. That way you can maybe see it. And okay, so we got the piece of paper. I don't remember the exercise, and we had to just circle words and then delete to be able and let go. It was really great. The letting go part, in fact, is the part that was most effective, if you will. And what I mean by that is that you learning to witness, process, welcome, make sense of, let go. That's healing trauma, for example, and any emotion stuff that comes up. But letting go is also about the attachment, right? So I didn't. That was the hardest part. I didn't want to give it to them. And then at the end of this day, I lost something that is really special to me. So it continued that theme, which with the full moon coming up, it's something about letting go of the old and the new. So I'm like, okay, it's always all aligned. But here's a sentence. Circumstances in the night, merry, laughing, and handsome, and mirror an invasion of the reflection of trust. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon. Please like, share, subscribe,